Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's an amazing day, and we're here back at the Pirate Broadcast, making sure that you have some value, maybe a few nuggets of knowledge, something you can take away, inspire you, motivate you, and create something good today. So today, Frank is in the house. He's a pirate today. Welcome, Pirate Frank. How are you doing, my friend?
Arr! I'm doing great, Russ. Thank you for having me.
And we discovered, Frank, that we both enjoy music. We enjoy the production side of music and creative process and everything else. However, some of the things that we want to talk about today are in a process that you developed over years of experience as an entrepreneur and developing and working with and coordinating with other entrepreneurs called M-Cube. And I want to dive into your journey, how you got here, and what you're doing now. So when was your first entrepreneurial experience? Can you think back in the Wayback Machine and grab an item off the list?
Yeah, way back is right, Russ. Unlike many people or other experiences in my life, I can actually pinpoint the date. It was February 22nd, 1974. So coming up on 50 years ago, my mother decided that what our hometown needed was what she called a store that sells copies. And so she opened the first copy shop, I don't know for what radius. It was around the same time the Kinko's was founded on the West Coast. So
Wow.
turned out my mom was known as Toby, that Toby had a great idea. And so over the years, the shop grew, and eventually we took on printing and a number of other things. And 20 plus years later, that place actually generated over $1 million in top line revenue.
Wow.
Which is even to this day, I mean, that was back when $1 million was real money. But we struggled. We really struggled mightily for about the first 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And so that's where it all started.
You know, it's and you pointed it out. Entrepreneurship is not necessarily the smoothest road in the journey. So, you know, one of the things that I love about it, though, is the opportunity to wake up and decide what we have, what we get to focus on. You know, the entrepreneur, a lot of entrepreneurs start out maybe like your mother, I don't know, this idea that I can do something, here's something I can do, here's the value that I can add, or here's a skill that I have. And they go into it with that skill based on their talent in that arena, not necessarily the talent of the business itself.
Right.
So there's some things that we have to learn along the way as well. So is that your experience in your journey?
Precisely. And, you know, and I would differentiate between the words talent and skill.
Yeah.
For example, you and I were talking about being musicians earlier. I'm not a talented musician. I just have to admit it. It was a hard realization to come to.
I am not a talented musician either, Frank.
Well,
You're in good company.
Well, over time, though, I was able to develop skills in certain areas where, you know, and so the difference is talent is something you're born with and skill is something that anyone can develop. The more talent you have, the easier it is to improve that skill, and the less you have, the harder. But I've identified 6 different skill areas. I call them areas of mastery in entrepreneurship that people need to focus on. And all of us will be better in some than we are in others. It's just the way it is. Nobody's going to be perfect at all 6. But what I try to do is bring to your attention all 6 of them and let you think about it. Oh, I can see where that's an area where I'm costing myself money or causing myself trouble.
Yeah.
And so in any event, last thought I want to leave on this point is, you said that sometimes people start a business because they bring some skill or some talent to it, And that's usually, I use the example of, a baker who opens his own bakery, or a
Mhm.
hairstylist who opens his or her own salon, or in my background, a press operator, printing press operator opens his own print shop. And what they discover is that running a print shop is an entirely different thing than running a printing press. And that's where they run into trouble. And this is where these 6 M's can help them.
Yeah, I wanted before we jump into that, I just want to remind people that everything you do, and this is important to understand, is everything you do you can work to improve on, and improving your skills and the diversity of your skills as you grow into your entrepreneurial journey is going to be absolutely critical, whether it be in a business acumen or your financial side, all of these elements. And I think that it'd be really great for you to share some of the experience that you've seen and the processes that you've developed to help business owners recognize the things around the corner that they haven't necessarily understood yet. So
We'll be
take us
happy to do
away on
that.
that.
I'm sure you would agree, Russ, that we all learn best from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I became an expert.
Yeah. Uh, the pain I've had in the past is the fuel I need for my future, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, so let me lay it out for you. The 6 M's are mission, marketing, money, machine, which is operations or production, and
Uh-huh.
that's the actual running of the business. That comes in fourth in priority order in terms of a success factor. Machine is fourth, then comes management of people, and finally is minutia, which is broadly the paperwork, the
Yeah.
legalities, the insurance, the taxes, the what have you. Now, the money side of taxes is very important, but the filing of the taxes is more the minutia. So
Yeah.
minutia is more the admin type stuff. And I put it last because a lot of people put it first when they go to start their business.
Hmm.
Oh, I got to have my LLC set up. I got to have business cards. I got to, you know, get in my insurance straight and everything. Those
Yeah.
are critical success factors over the long term. But in the
Yeah.
short term, they're not going to generate any revenue for you, and that's where you need to start.
Yeah. I have to agree with you after having started a lot of different organizations. I've always started out with having something. If I can't sell it, it's
Right.
really not a business. It's like, hey, it
Precisely.
could be a great idea. This great idea I think I have, and ask my friends. They say, yeah, sure, it's a great idea.
Right.
Until the point in which I ask them to pull their wallet out and pay for it, and
Hmm.
then it might not be that great of an idea. So you have to test a few things out before you put everything else in place.
That's
That's my
exactly right.
experience. So walk us through that process and how you
So
see that.
that's marketing. And honestly, I'm so torn about whether mission or marketing comes first. And in my book, I started with marketing. I still list mission first. I wrote a book called Unlocking the M Cube.
Mhm.
But I've seen people who even didn't have a mission, weren't sure why they were doing this, still succeed because they were so good at marketing and sales. But let me take them in order in terms of the definition. Mission means, uh, why are you doing this? I mean, this
Yeah.
is crazy starting your own business. Did you quit your job? Are you, taking money out of your home equity? Are you running up your credit cards? Are you causing a lot of friction with your family and your spouse? Or, there's a lot of negative aspects or
Yeah.
potentially to starting a business. So if you're not clear on why you're doing it, you are more likely to just give up because you don't have that heart behind it that's going to see you through the tough times. There are a lot of reasons why people start a business. I'm going to show my dad, that I could do it even though he said I couldn't. I'm going to show my boss. Another
Yeah.
big reason is I have a big idea and nobody believes in it, and now I need to show. Other people just have a real aversion to, quote, working for the man, and they
Yeah.
want to run their own show. Whatever your why is, it's critical that you get in touch with it, write it down, and put it up on the wall.
Yeah. I I really resonate with that, Frank, because I did a lot of work for a lot of years, and I've been an entrepreneur. I've had a side hustle my entire life. It's always been something that I just, it's just my DNA. However, there are times where my family and friends had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I tell people, I joke with people because I actually created a large network. I helped create this large network in Houston when I lived there. Over 1,000 people in this network, multiple
Wow.
meetings and everything else. And there are still people to this day that have no idea what I do. So in that case, I had a mission and no marketing because I wasn't marketing myself and it wasn't really my product. And, I did marketing and media and content creation and websites and all of that stuff. And, uh, you know, and my biggest challenge in business has been making sure that I have a focus on a single thing long enough. It's
Oh
like
boy, I can relate to that, Russ.
Edison versus, you know,
Westinghouse.
yeah, Westinghouse. Exactly.
Mhm.
It's crazy to imagine how you can actually have that much tenacity. Because one of the things I think a lot of business owners think was, well, how long should I be doing this before I decide not to do it? How
Right.
how much commitment do I need to place in this before I lose everything and have to start over again? How much how much energy do I need to create and put into this because I believe in the idea versus having other people believe in the idea? So
Yeah, that's
this
tough. Those are
chugging,
tough decisions.
yeah, this push and pull is always there. And it's like the analogy, I work 80 hours so I don't have to spend 40 hours working for someone else.
Yeah. Well, and
And
you
it,
know what's important about that is, as far as the why, and maybe that is it.
mhm,
For example, what I write about is that if you're working 80 hours now for less money, but it's because you hated your job so much, the money you're leaving on the table is the price you're paying for your freedom and
yeah,
for your ability to express yourself creatively in your work. And that's okay.
yeah,
Each one of us is different. But it is important, even though we'd all like to be, very high-minded, money is a very critical why component.
yeah,
And one of the first things I suggest to people considering starting a business, because it is quantifiable and it is a stake you can put in the ground, is how much money do you want to take home every month? And
yeah.
that will inform a lot of your choices because a lot of the things you may choose to do couldn't generate that amount of money. So then you need to
Well,
look
the key
further else.
component there, Frank, is take home. Because a
What did you
business
say?
can make it an incredible amount of money and the owner can still be broke.
You got that right.
As
Take home. That's what you
as
said. Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
revenue and is not the same as take home. In all cases, it's the thing that you're leaving in the pocket is really what it's ultimately. I think what people think about, but they don't think about all of the process in between.
And we get it a lot in the press, even. They'll say the company made $4 million last year. No, they
Yeah,
didn't. They generated $4 million in revenue. They might have lost $7 million.
yeah.
That's
How
what's
much
important.
revenue? How many dollars did they spend to earn that revenue, and how much did they get to keep?
Right. You look at a company like Uber or others where they're literally generating hundreds of millions of dollars and they
Mhm.
have a virtual company and yet they're still losing money.
Yeah,
Now, I haven't looked at their financial statements, but you have to wonder, how do you do that?
yeah. Yeah, how do they do that? A lot of people are trying to figure out how to do that.
They're clearly financial geniuses.
Oh, or they're great marketers, one or the
Yeah,
other. It's so funny. I just want to give a shout out, Frank, and part of the beauty of the pirate broadcast is the idea and the opportunity to make connections, start conversations. Because I believe in the business world, you're just one conversation away from getting what you need.
I like
And
that.
today's age and the ability and opportunity to show video and produce results and have a conversation just like this accelerates the idea that we can actually have a conversation with others too. So,
It
Jenny
really
Gold,
is amazing.
She's a pirate. We were talking about different products and sales. Howard Kaufman, who was on the show, he's a pirate. We were talking about his products. Jeffrey, good morning, pirates. Finally catching you live today from Western New York. Well, he's right in your neck of the woods, Frank. Hello,
That's,
Russ,
yeah,
Frank.
I'm down
Well,
near DC.
yeah. Well, East Coast, West Coast.
You're exactly right. Yeah, he's East Coast.
Yeah. Hello, my friend Kate is here. Thank you so much. Wow, 50 years. Holy cow. The year after I graduated high school. Yes, we're in the time zone.
Yeah.
Silver Fox Talks. Darlene out of Florida. Hello, pirate community and family. Happy to be here. Make a few connections, everyone. Mike Baker, also in Florida. Just
You got it, Mike.
First, yeah, do the best you can and get referrals. Absolutely, Jeff. Great points for starting this morning. Have to have clarity. So true. Sheila Chamberlain, budgets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Start
We'll
more
talk about that.
conversations. Love the process. Revenue, overhead, she says. Sheila, a word of mouth. Yeah, Jenny Gold.
Sheila, are you a CPA? Because most of your suggestions have to do with money.
Yeah. Good evening. I am locked here in Kenya. Thank you so much for being here in Kenya. So, Frank, give us some more, a little deeper dive into the steps you're referring to when we talk about this process.
Well, we will be getting to money, which is number 3. And as I say, I list these in order of priority importance to the success, the short-term success of your business, based on my experience. But number 2 after mission is marketing. And you said it right on, Russ. If you can't sell if nobody's buying what you're selling, you ain't got a business.
Yeah.
And the marketplace is the ultimate arbiter of whether or not your product or service has value. Now, it's not even just whether it has value, but is the value greater than the price you're charging for it?
Yeah.
And the price you're charging for it has to be higher than the cost to produce it.
Yeah.
So this is where things get a little more difficult. But marketing is, in essence, a communication process. You have to introduce yourself to your target audience. There's a process that I refer to as going from stranger, your relationship with your customer, from stranger to suspect to prospect to customer to client. I could spend all day talking about that. And I produced an online course that's called How to Build a Customer Factory. If you want to learn more about that, you can look it up. But in any event, what I have seen is people who had all the other skills, talents, and advantages, years of industry experience before they opened their own business working for others. They had a good pile of cash in the bank or had access to financial resources.
Yeah.
They knew where to hire the right people to run the business and make the donuts.
Yeah.
But they couldn't sell their way out of a paper bag, and they lost their butts and lost all their money and and when you lose, it's a terrible, terrible thing. And it has great personal consequences in addition to financial. So what I would say is for most business owners, marketing is a mystery and sales is a dirty word.
Yeah.
And if when I use the word sales, you get all ginchy and start, sweating, then you need to figure out who's going to be selling what it is you're producing. Because if it's not you, you got a problem.
Yeah. Well, every business needs a sales process, whether it's the business owner promoting the idea or someone that is they're assigned the responsibility of selling. Somebody has to sell something before anything can ever grow.
That's right.
And I think it's important, Frank, also that people recognize that sales is not a dirty word.
No, it isn't.
We all have gifts. We all have a message. You've spent years, decades even, honing the craft of being able to share this message and broadcast and create courses and help a lot of people. It would almost be criminal if you didn't put this out there and share it with more people. Some people see that as sales. Some people say that as you're delivering gifts to the universe. Whatever you want to, however you want to position it in your mind, it's a perception. it's not a reality. And you have to realize that you have a gift that you can share, and you not sharing it is, that's tragic.
It really is, and you have to. I won't name any names, but I had a client in the past who had a tremendous value proposition that virtually any business owner and almost any person on earth could take benefit from. But they
Hmm.
were so hesitant to say or do anything that they perceived as being self-promotional that to this day that business struggles mightily.
Hmm.
And it's such a shame because it's a tremendous, the value is tremendous. So just as you said, think about what I always say is if you believe that the value of what you're delivering is far in excess of the price that you're charging for it, you said it would be criminal. I think that's a little strong, but I can't argue with it. You're certainly making a mistake not sharing it with people who could benefit from it.
Yeah.
And who are you to stand between them and expanding their life?
Yeah. And there's somebody out there, I promise you, there's someone out there that wants what you have,
Hmm.
regardless of what it happens to be. There is someone out there, and I've proven it over and over again in different activities and adventures in my life. And I suffer tremendously from imposter syndrome and the lack of confidence saying, oh, this is something you need. And right now, Frank, the Pirate Syndicate, I'm producing shows for other people, and I'm producing results that people can be seen, be heard, and be talked about, and build authority in their market and visibility. And that to me is part of the process. It's the number two on your list. It's like
Hmm.
get the marketing out there and make sure that you have it in place. If you have a great product that nobody hears about,
Yeah.
is how, you know,
Well, you and I both probably, I can only speak for myself, but you may well remember when there was a battle between the Macintosh operating system and the early versions of Windows
yeah,
from Microsoft. And Windows 3.1 was just an awful program. It was terrible.
yeah,
And by comparison, Microsoft operating system was elegant.
yeah,
But Microsoft took 97% of the market share for a long period of time, and the difference was marketing. It
yeah,
wasn't the quality of the product.
yeah. That's so true. That's so true. And I've been on the entire journey for this computer thing. So
Yeah, me too.
it's like you watch it and you see it over and over. When you learn how to recognize it in the marketing effort and you're saying that's not the best product, well, it's probably the best marketing.
Yeah.
And it really makes a difference. So for the lesson today, everyone, is that go out there, test drive it. If nobody buys it, there might be an issue there. If their message has been tested a couple of different ways and still nobody buys it, look at that. However, if you're not producing sales and you're not asking enough people and you're not having enough conversations, that's a different challenge. So you
Sure.
actually have to have a conversation before you can, you know, get enough information back to understand what the pain is that you're solving. What pain are you
And
solving?
that's a very important point. There has to be a problem that you're solving. If there's no pain, there's no opportunity for someone to come in and provide a solution.
Well, people run away from pain a lot quicker than they run to pleasure.
Yep.
Buying Armani suit or a Rolex watch is less frequent than, getting toilet paper. So, like,
What a great analogy. That's great.
yeah, it's like, you have to pick your market, right?
Yeah, exactly right. That's funny.
It's a lot of people or a select few. You just have to decide. Frank, I want to go a little deeper in the process of the business development. You get
Okay.
to a point where we have a product we're selling, people are buying it, things start growing. I know for myself, I'm starting at the point where I have to contract people out right now. The gig economy is brilliant for this. It allows you to kind of add some people to the team without having to, commit to a full-time employee and everything that goes along with that. And scaling companies right now, and especially online and virtual companies right now, is a huge opportunity. what are your thoughts on that? And how do you grow an organization, not maybe like Uber, but, in that
Sure.
fashion without being, driving yourself crazy and going, you know, driving yourself mad?
Well, I have a lot of suggestions on that. I place management of people, which includes recruiting, uh, I talk selection, attraction, selection, uh, onboarding, and development of people.
Uh-huh.
And um, and in fact, again, I have a course that's called How to Hire and Keep Great People that you can look for.
I love it.
But I mention that only because I've given this a lot of thought, and I see it as one of the biggest rubs for every business owner. But I do place management as number five, just behind minutia. And the reason why is because until you have everything else ready, and you do the example you just gave, people are buying what you're selling, you're pumping out product, and demands for growth are coming in. So then, good, you're set to start to scale with people. The number one suggestion I would give is always be open to hiring people who are smarter than you are.
Yes.
One of the biggest mistakes business owners make, and I've done it myself, is to be afraid to hire somebody who has more experience than you do. And looking inward, I would say the reason I felt that way, I was afraid that person was going to show me up,
Hmm.
that it was going to be obvious to the rest of my staff that I really didn't know what I was doing. This
Yeah.
person knows more about it than I do, etc. But when you think about it, would you rather have that person working for you or somebody who's a lunkhead that you're just pouring money down a drain hole, paying their salary?
Yeah.
Another thing that's very important when it comes to relationships with people who work for you is that all relationships are temporary. No matter what you do, one day your relationship in this, at least this manner of relationship with that person will change and they won't work for you anymore. But a lot of times owners and managers try to hold on to a good person by the throat and not let them go. But instead, if you would give them everything that they were looking for in their personal life, like helping them with personal development, or maybe
Hmm.
they want to take guitar lessons, or you name it, whatever is important to them personally that may have nothing to do with your business, the more you are a conduit to these types of things for them, the longer they will stay with you. All you can hope for is to extend the length of time they're with you and make it as beneficial as possible. I'll let go of that by just giving you a quick example. When I say Coach K, do you know who I'm referring to? Coach
No.
Krzyzewski. He's the coach of the Duke men's basketball team, and he's a multiple NCAA national championship winner, and he's coached the Olympic basketball team. Very successful basketball coach.
Hmm.
He has a rule when he hires assistant coaches. He will not hire an assistant coach unless it is that coach's desire to become a head coach of his own team in the near future, because that's the level of drive and instinct that he's looking for in his assistants.
Yeah.
He realizes Coach K knows that person will only be with them for a short period of time, but he will attract the very best, the brightest, the most energetic coaches. And while they are with him, they will help him win. And he, in turn, will help them learn how to become a championship coach. And after a few years, they're gone. But
Yeah.
because that his approach is so well known, there's no shortage of the next coach wanting to come work for him.
Coach University is what it looks. It's like they're only there for a couple of years and they're off to their own they're
Just like the players.
yeah, just like the players.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, and I love the idea of helping people develop their skills. I always believed in hire the attitude, train the skill, and
Yeah.
if you can match the individual with what they love and enjoy doing naturally, and you can build a team with bringing people together that love to do what they do and they do it well and they're better at it than you are, and you can it's like a great band,
I
as a
was
music.
going to say the same thing.
It's like when it comes together it makes music.
Yeah.
It's the sum of the parts
Yeah.
are much more important than the individual.
Yeah.
Frank, this has been wonderful. I love the opportunity to hang out with amazing people that have great conversations. We've got a lot of people in the room. Wendy is here. Thank you so much, Wendy, beloved posse. Howard Kaufman, we were talking about earlier. Insightful discussion. Thanks for sharing. Mike Baker says unstoppable. I just really appreciate all of the things. Jeffrey says, so true, marketing aspect, being a software engineer for over 25 years. Absolutely. We need all of the skill and talent that everybody brings to the table. You may not necessarily fit in every scenario. However, the experience that you're developing and everything that you've brought to the table, Frank, today is, from the printing press, the copy store, developing these skills in business from experience. It adds to our volume of knowledge that we can share with others. And that's what the Pirate Broadcast is about. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge today, Frank, and look forward to future conversations. So
Thank you so much for having me, Russ. And I'll leave you with this question. How do you know when you're a pirate?
how do you know when I say you're a pirate? No,
You just are.
you just are. The reality is that anyone that believes that kindness is cool and smiles are free can be a pirate. So thank you so much for being here, Frank.
Thanks for having me, Russ.
So how do
Appreciate it.
people get a hold of you quickly?
Sure, frankfelker.com. Also LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Love you. Have a fantastic weekend. And we'll be back again on Monday. Take care. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate.